What are your 4 favorite zombie movies?
Got to go with the original, Night of the Living Dead, because that set the standard for so much. Dawn of the Dead. I'm just going to go through the whole list on it. Return of the Living Dead, very silly, but I loved it. And 28 Days Later. But there are more than that. Like, I love zombies. Ooh, there's so many.
I know. Hi, I'm Mia, West Coast editor of Letterboxd, and this is...
Chris Butler, and I am one of the directors and the writer of ParaNorman.
And we are at...
LAIKA, and I'm going to take you on a guided tour of the studio. We're going to see some behind-the-scenes stuff, some puppets, some sets, cool stuff.
Hell yeah, let's get started.
This one over here was one of the first drawings that I did to try and sell the idea of the movie. And this ended up being made into a sculpt. It was sculpted by the legendary Kent Melton, who passed away last year. I was such a big fan of his stuff, and starting work on my first movie where he was going to do the first sculpt based on my drawing. That's a pretty good memory for me. That's an early drawing that I did, actually, and it was based on photographs of me as a kid. My mom inflicted that on me, a proper bowl cut. That was the thought, was that he would have a really embarrassing bowl cut. But then it was like, well, he talks to ghosts, and what happens when you talk to ghosts? Your hair stands on end. So that's where the haircut came from. I think that was the first drawing by Heidi Smith that I was like, that's our guy.
Yeah.
That's our Norman. A lot of the movie is inspired by the 80s. It doesn't really take place in the 80s, but it's a version of the 80s.
What you watching in there?
Sex and violence.
I just watched Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Amazing 80s zombies movie. I felt that 80s influence, even though it was not the 80s, so it does shine through.
Yes. We always intended it to be a bit of a love letter to the movies that we grew up watching. We talked about it being John Carpenter meets John Hughes.
I noticed that the score, the very synthy score, was very reminiscent of Halloween, and then there's even the ringtone that plays the Halloween theme song.
There's lots and lots of Easter eggs, horror movie Easter eggs throughout. Neil's dog, Bub. Bub is named after the zombie in Day of the Dead. There is a shot when Norman first comes up to the house, and we were inspired by a very similar shot in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what we nodded to with this house.
It's like a total slasher movie vibe.
This is the Babcock's house. This is where Norman grew up. Very much based on Massachusetts. Look, there's someone put a handprint. I think that's Norman. I was a particular fan of the chain link fencing in this movie. We actually did a little bit of a tour around Massachusetts. We went to a lot of towns, taking photos of people's gardens, all the real detail that makes it come alive. So someone's job is to make all this stuff, and they spend 3 years doing it by hand. And they use all kinds of materials. We had the famous popcorn tree in Coraline.
I love the asymmetry of this house, like how the window's a little bit to the side.
Asymmetry was a big part of all of the design of the movie. The characters as well, you'll notice that a lot of the characters have different sized eyes and ears. Makes it really difficult for the animator. Real life isn't perfect. And quite often in animation, you have these perfect designs where everything's symmetrical, everything looks cute and adorable and polished. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to do something that feels authentic. And I think the authenticity comes in things being a little off. A big part of the movie's design was about clutter as well, where you'd have large areas of not much happening and then small condensed areas where there's a lot of detail. You'll see that a lot as we go around.
You know who I am.
The weird, stinky old bum who lives up the hill.
So Sam Fell, the other director, he came on board, so we made this movie together. Fantastic director. His name ended up on Mr. Prendergast's underpants. I don't know why this happened, but it happened. My name ended up on Mitch's underwear.
What? This keeps happening, it seems.
It was just a thing. Here is a selection of puppets and maquettes and pieces of artwork from the movie. So you know earlier we were talking about the asymmetry. One leg is bigger than the other. One detail about Norman is his eye shape. If you look at his irises, they are faceted. They are like octagonal. Norman sees things differently. from everyone else. I think it was also made the animators' lives really difficult because when they're moving those eyes around, when the octagon starts moving, suddenly the eyes are starting to spin in the hair, and you don't notice that if it's round, but suddenly when you've got these facets, you see them shifting around. So it's very, very difficult. So this is a paint test for the judge. One thing about the paint job on these guys, we didn't want to get too ghoulish. We didn't want to get too grotesque. We wanted this to be a fun, colourful movie.
Here we go. This is incredible. This is Norman's bedroom. When I was rewatching, I kept wanting to pause and look at all of the posters that he has. So I would love for you to walk me through all of the production design of this.
He's got this gift where he can talk to dead people. He's also got an interest in horror. So he tries to find answers in horror movies. And his bedroom is full of it. You'll notice with the way the posters are all kind of clustered together, it's almost like Norman's shrine to horror. Everyone who works in this studio had a bedroom like this at some point.
Chris, can you tell us anything about this new ParaNorman short, The Thrifting?
This is a dream come true for me because when I was writing the original movie, many, many years ago, I had so many ideas of different creatures, different spooks, different paranormal events, encounters. With the re-release of the movie, I've got to explore some of those ideas because we've got a brand new short, The Thrifting, that's going to accompany the movie. When we were thinking about what to do for this short, it was like, well, which characters do we want to see come back? And I wanted to see all of them come back, but of course it's got to be Norman's story. Everyone in the world loves Neil, so it made sense for him to come back.
I'll punch you in the boobs.
I don't have boobs. These are pectorals. Ow, my boobs!
And my personal favourite was Courtney. I think it's because I like channeling my inner cheerleader when I'm writing for her. Anna Kendrick is coming back. We couldn't have had Courtney without Anna.
I heard that. Mom, tell the zombie to stop saying stuff about me.
Can you quit using the Z word?
We've also got a couple of new characters, including Chad, who is played by Finn Wolfhard. He's perfect for this because he's also a true horror aficionado. You know, he's directed his own horror movies. He's supremely talented.
The dead are coming! Norman!
So how and when can we see these new characters?
Well, you can see The Thrifting with the re-release of ParaNorman. That's this Halloween in remastered 3D. In remastered 3D!
Remastered 3D!
Halloween, October.